Hello students and welcome to week 5. Sorry I didn't get this up for you Monday, but I'm getting it to you now, so better late than never. I've graded all of the week 4 work that's been turned in thus far, and let's see. So the eChug, eToke, and the Ask, Listen, and Refer assignments, there are still a bunch of incompletes on that, and I think those three together are 75 points. So I did, if there weren't things from week four turned in by now, I put zeros in the grade book. But please turn them in. I'll get an alert and I can grade those. That's a lot of points for those three very simple assignments. Okay, so please get those in if you haven't turned them in. For all of you that got them done, the majority of you, thank you very much. But there was still a pretty good number that hadn't turned those in. And then you had two worksheets, the Project Stay and the Student Success Center, and I graded those and awarded points on those. If you missed questions on the Project Stay one, that kind of hurt because it was 20 points with just 5 questions, so it was 4 points each. So if you missed a couple there, that hurt your grade. Most of you did just fine on Project Stay. And the Student Success Center, the biggest question missed was I can't think of it right now, but it was what is one thing that what is one thing the Student Success Center is not responsible for? And the answer there was advising for undeclared majors. That is the purview of academic or advising, counseling, and testing services. So a lot of you missed that one. So just FYI. Other than that, nothing comes to mind on the worksheet. So your time management responses were very nice. A lot of you put a really nice effort and thought into those, and I do appreciate that. And you know, Tina's story is not uncommon, and I think all of you did a really good job of giving a giving advice to a person in that situation and listing campus resources that could possibly help. But and that's all good and valid. But the thing about college, guys, especially if you're an adult with a family, is that there's no easy way to do it. I mean, it's not a comfortable life while you're working through it and taking care of your job and your home on top of school. I mean, it's just a grind. That's the way it is. And I think you've got to have, as I worked my way through, I got my teaching degree and then was teaching and then, did a master's, just bang, bang, bang. And I think back to those times and I really don't know how I did it. I mean, I was young, but the late nights, the work and going to bed at, 1 or 2 and getting up and having to teach school. I mean, it's just a grind and there's no easy answers and there's no one that's going to, when you're in a situation like Tina's, there's no one that's going to come up with a golden bullet or a silver bullet for you. It's a grind, and you do it or you don't. In Tina's situation, uh, what I was going to say was family support. I couldn't have gotten through what I did without the help of my wife and the amount of responsibility, what she did while I was doing that. And I think the help of family and friends is critical. In Tina's case, she probably needs some help with child care, and if she doesn't have family to do that, she's got to pay for it, and that costs money, and then that means one more reason not to quit your job. So there's no easy way, and hopefully we have friends and family that can help us as we work through these, however long it takes, 4, 6 years, depending on how far you're going. Now, if you don't have the friend support or the family support, that's where hopefully the institutions resources can benefit you. I mean, there are there are people here that you can trust and go to for assistance. And I think so. We're kind of talking about there's assistance with things like getting prepped for a job, and there's assistance for things like managing, your class load and help with advising and stuff. And then there's assistance for things that are more personal in nature. If you're struggling emotionally and you need someone to help you, just keep on keeping on because it's rough. Um, so I think Tina was probably in that area of, I can't go on like this. I mean, I've got to give up. And she really needed emotional support more than anything, and practical support. Help with the kids. Uh, somebody to free up some time for her so that she can focus some time on studies. And the school's not going to be able to give that to you. That's where friends and family have to step in. The school um, can really be there when someone doesn't have friends and they need emotional support. I mean, those ladies over there, and I think they're all ladies. Those counselors over there are nice, caring people, and I think they do a lot of good with students that are find themselves in really bad places. And it's important, and it may not be the first choice for a lot of us, but I mean, if there's someone that doesn't really have any other place to turn, and there are people like that, then those people there, over in the counseling center, they're there to help, and I think they do a lot of good. Then the other thing, practical help from the school is with tutoring and with career prep and things like that. And I encourage all of you to keep an open mind. I think maybe we might tend to discount, some of us may tend to kind of discount those offices like they're not really plugged into what we need and what's out there. But I think before you discount them, open your mind and give them a chance, because probably you're going to be surprised. The people we've got running things like Alex Gandy with the career services, the dude's plugged in, and you're going to learn a lot, and him and his people are going to help you a lot when you talked about getting prepped to enter the workforce. So don't discount these offices, and don't discount tutoring if you're struggling with a with a subject, because I think I was certainly this way, that it's just kind of the first way we feel is I'll handle it myself. I don't want to deal with going and asking for help. Well, uh, try something new. You never know. You don't know until you try. So keep that in mind when we think about the resources that Missouri Southern has for you. Keep an open mind, and I hope everyone has family and friends that they can lean on. Oh, and another thing is family and friends, university resources, and trusted faculty and staff here on campus. Maybe you don't go to the formal counseling center, but maybe you've met someone on campus that you trust and feel like you can, whatever, ask for help. I think that's another thing to keep in mind. A professor that you like and trust and who you think cares about you. I think the human connections, right? That's what will get us through. So yeah, it can really be tough, and all I can say is it can really be tough. And for me, I think it was worth it, except for my student loans. Oh, don't get me going there. But I don't know what I'd be doing if I didn't stick it out. And so, but I am in debt. It was expensive, and that's the one bummer. But I think it's worth it. So, all right, moving on to this week quickly. Got about a minute left here. So this week is week 5, and you've got 2 really good chapters in your textbook. The chapter 9 is improving performance on tests and exams. I know many of you have experienced stress in this regard. I know it from the past. People have shared this with me. And so it would go at chapter 9 with an open mind, and there's some really good tips and tricks and strategies and guidance in there. And then chapter 5, thinking critically. this is, one of the overall missions of higher ed in general is critical thinking. And so instead of a discussion, we're going to have a critical thinking discussion in week 7. But also, I went ahead and dropped in a quiz for chapter 5 because it's important. So the quiz will ensure that you at least have to crack that chapter and look up the answers because they're good. And we'll talk more about critical thinking later. But this quiz is in the in-class folder in week 5. And then in the Blackboard folder, you've got a quiz over chapter 9 that you read and the quiz over the study abroad video, which is right there. The other things on the agenda, don't ignore because this stuff will be in the final. So you don't want to ignore them just because we're not quizzing over them this week. Okay, thanks everybody. And if you've got any late work, please get it turned in. Okay, don't take that 0. I don't want the 0 to stay in there, and neither do you. This is a 1-hour class. We're past the halfway mark. So if you've got any missing assignments, please get them into me. And for everyone who is getting everything in and doing a really nice job on things, I really appreciate it. I go through and I read the submissions like last week, and I'm just really thankful that when I see that you're taking the time to send me something that looks good and something that's thoughtful and well written, and I really appreciate it. So have a great week, everybody, and I'm here if you need me, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.